Can you find one truth in what they're saying? The fear is that if we agree with their pain, that somehow we're going to explode or it will ruin the relationship. And the opposite is true. Have you ever been on the other side where you've been hurt, you tell someone about what has happened, and they listen? Welcome to The Middle. I'm Ganel-Lyn, your host. Today, our conversation is because of one of you. We got a request for an episode, and so we're going to tackle the subject. If you have watched our forgiveness episode, we had a request to talk about the other side of that, when you want to be forgiven. So you're the one who's caused the hurt or the pain, and one of our viewers asked if we would tackle that here on the Yellow Couch. So today we're going to talk about being forgiven. We've already talked about what it feels like to try to offer forgiveness, but what if you're the one who's caused the pain? You've been the one that has made the mistake that's hurt someone that you care about, and you're not quite sure how to navigate that, or you've tried to apologize and you've tried to fix things, and they're just not having it, and they don't want to forgive you for what you've done, and it's hurting you. That is the question we've been asked to address today. And so I want to start out first and foremost that if you're in a situation where you've caused pain, you've made a mistake and it's hurt someone, and they're willing to sit down and have a conversation with you, I think the first thing we want to do is we want to explain. We want to say, yeah, but this is why I did this. And I'm horrible at this. If you get a conversation with my husband, he will tell you that I'm not always great at the apologies because I want to explain why I made the mistake or why I hurt his feelings or why I did something. The best gift we can give each other when we have hurt someone is to just listen and validate, and no buts. No, but this is why I did it. If there's something you can own, one thing, this is just a tip. If someone you care about is telling you all the things you've done that have hurt them, can you find one truth in what they're saying? The fear is that if we agree with their pain, that somehow we're going to explode or it will ruin the relationship. And the opposite is true. Have you ever been on the other side where you've been hurt, you tell someone about what has happened, and they listen and they own it and they validate you? Doesn't it feel so awesome? It makes your heart soften instead of what often we do is we defend, and then the person hurt wants to explain, well, no, you really did hurt me. And it turns into this whole dance. So the first tip I would have that I'm working on, that I'm still working on, is to listen and validate. Find one nugget of truth. One thing that you can say, I totally get why that hurt. I totally understand. I'm so sorry that what I said made you feel this way, or that how I acted caused you to feel afraid or alone or frustrated. It's not saying that you 100% agree, but their feelings are their feelings and your feelings are yours. And feelings aren't right or wrong, but we can often stop the process of forgiveness because we go into the explanation and the but. The next thing I want to say, first and foremost, is that you can't control how others think about you or feel about you. And that's really frustrating. I don't claim that everyone loves and cares about me, but the people that matter the most to me, I really want them to think good of me. I don't want them to be angry with me or frustrated with me. I don't want them to feel hurt by what I'm doing and what I'm saying. At the end of the day, though, I have no control over how they feel or how they see me. I only can control me. And so one of the things that I really try to tell myself is that I can work on me, but I can't control them. And that has helped me a lot not get snagged into this little gymnastics in my head about what they're thinking about me and are they still mad at me and what can I do to fix it? If I keep the focus on what I can control, which is my own behavior and how I show up in the world, then sometimes miracles happen. And hearts are softened and healing can happen and forgiveness can happen. But if I hyper focus on the other person and what they're thinking about me and changing their opinion about me, then usually that's not as effective. So I hope that as you, especially I've talked to people that reach out and they've gone through some really big betrayal issues where they have broken promises and they've caused a lot of pain. And the first instinct is, I'm going to save my marriage, or I'm going to save this relationship because I'm going to solve the problem. I'm going to undo what I did that was so horrible and wrong. And oftentimes that they hit a wall on that. And so the best thing that can happen, and what I've offered as advice, but I've had to take it myself in situations where I've caused pain unintentionally, is that keep working on you. The more you progress and the more you show up in a loving, hopeful way, then you are more likely to have healing experience with that other person. And I don't mean this last suggestion to be cliche, but time does heal. I just watched a documentary about a very well-known person who had gone through some really horrible trauma and betrayal with her spouse. And she recently had died. And I saw a social media post of her ex-husband. And it was that they had experienced some healing over time. It didn't solve the pain. It didn't fix what had gone wrong. It didn't undo the trauma that he had caused, but they had come to a place of some understanding and peace over time. And I really do believe that time can heal. And I guess more than anything, if you've been the one to cause the pain and the trauma, I hope it invites you, it has for me, to be more forgiving of others. We often say that we can choose whatever we want to choose. That's true, but we can't choose the consequences. And some consequences play out for a long time. If we've made some decisions that have really hurt people and we've caused some division, maybe in our families or at work, and we're living through the consequence at the time, it's okay to go get support and help through that disappointment and pain. Being forgiven, I have talked to people that have really caused some pain. They would trade places if they could, because when you know that you've hurt someone that you care about, it's the worst feeling. And I'm not trying to say which is harder, to be hurt or to be the one that does the hurt. But if you're really on this path and you're praying and you've tried and the person is saying to you, I don't want to forgive you and I'm angry and I'm still hurt, give them that space. Give them as much time as they need to work through their feelings and keep working on you. That's my advice. It's easier said than done. I hope that a miracle is coming for you and that healing is possible because we need each other. But this is how we learn. And so I hope this helps in some way, and we'll see you again here on The Middle.